Side comments coming up in a bit. Random stories and random sort of man on these stories. Not to be discussed now, but later on during the open season segment that comes up after the major news at 6 p.m. I'll take your thoughts at that time. And and I'll take your thoughts on every other matter discussed on the show as well. You know, today's rant, the other discussions as well. Speaking of today's rant, I've got a rant coming up. I've got one coming up right after today's side comment. So I'll take your thoughts on that immediately after till 4 p.m. 4 p.m. we've got business news coming up. Discussions continue after that. And, some good news from Sudan. This evacuation has also stirred some controversy. I mean, naturally, right? It's Nigeria. I mean, how could it possibly happen without some controversy, you know? And let's see. Here's the story from Nigerian Tribune. Sudan, Nigerians react as FG evacuates students according to state of origin. Here's the story. Nigerians on Twitter have reacted to the methods deployed by the federal government to evacuate Nigerian students from the war-prone country of Sudan. Chairman of the Nigerian in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, Abike Dabiri-Rewa, had tweeted on her personal Twitter handle on Wednesday that, quote, Sudan update. For ease of conveying the students, they were put on the buses according to their state of origin, as our excited student doing this narration tells us here, Johnny Mercies, end of quote. However, the process seems not to go that well with some Nigerian troops as they share their opinions to reply to Dabiri-Rewa's tweet. Olorogun Ernest tweeted, why according to state of origin? Plasma can explain the rationale behind his logic. And at 3Face Dibia also tweeted, state of origin, huh? Is there really a war in Sudan? Because I'm not understanding. And, you know, there were similar reactions as well. Well, I'd like to get your and it's once again, state of origin is trending on the Nigerian Twitter space also. This has, elicited a lot of mixed reactions. I think mostly negative reactions as well. But I'd like to get your perspective on this. Once again, the NIDCOM boss, Abike Dabiri-Rewa, said this, is for ease of evacuation, for ease of conveying the students who were put on buses according to their states of origin. So I'd like for you to help me with this. How exactly will putting the students on buses according to their state of origin, how do you think that would ease the evacuation of the students or the conveyance of the students from Sudan to Egypt and then to Nigeria ultimately? I'd like to get your take on that. What do you make of this? After the business news at 4 o'clock. That takes us to 5. We got the news, more news coming the way, the updates this time at 5 o'clock. And after that, here's another story, which we'll discuss then. For this one from the cable. Femi Adesina, Buhari not aware of promises made to Nigerians by support groups in 2015. Buhari not aware of promises made to Nigerians by support groups in 2015. And here's the story as well. Femi Adesina, presidential spokesperson, says President Muhammadu Buhari didn't know of many promises made to Nigerians in 2015. In the build-up to the 2015 general elections, many promises were made to the electorate by Buhari's camp. The campaign promises were founded on Buhari's track record of fighting insecurity and mitigating corruption. On a national TV morning program on Thursday, earlier today, that is, Adesina said, quote, that Buhari was not privy to some of the promises. Now, quote, what happened in 2015 was that there was a rash of documents passing off as the party's manifesto. We didn't know which one was from the party or a support group. For instance, there was a document, 100 things Buhari would do in 100 days. It was when I resumed as his media advisor that I asked him about that document, and he knew nothing about it. I'm not strictly a party person, so I do not know if some promises are part of the manifesto, but I know that each party would have promises before being elected into power, and whoever is elected to power must key into these promises. What I'm telling you is that as at 2015, there were various types of documents which even the party didn't know because there were many support groups who came out with their own promises. Now, he then said, while commenting on Buhari's official pre-election pledges, he said economic realities affected the fulfillment of some of them. Now, a country can only spend money it has, it can't spend the money it doesn't have. When the realities of the economy change, you have to adjust and do what you are able to do according to the realities of the economy. Okay, so this suggests then, I mean, can or should citizens hold elected officials accountable for promises they made before they got into office? Because according to Femi Adesina, once again, when the realities of the economy change, you have to adjust and do what you are able to do according to the realities of the economy. So can citizens really then hold elected officials accountable? Because if the reality changes, then they have to adjust. If they said I was going to build 100 schools, for example, if the reality changes, he can build 10 schools and say the reality has changed. I'd like to get your take on this as well in the 5 o'clock hour. We've got headlines 5:30, the major news to put at 6 p.m. and open season after that. A review of all the matters discussed on the show. So that's it. What to expect on today's edition of Hard Facts. We move on now with today's side comments, random stories, and random thoughts that caught my attention as I checked out the news today. And I can see that the people are making a demand already. The people are demanding something. Let's see. Arsenal, home market. Are you still going to play Arsenal moment, or have you resigned as number one fan in PH? Sorry, you remember the biblical saying, you shall see the kingdom, but you shall not enter. I pray this will not be the Arsenal story this season as a vector. Dio, welcome. Please remember to play Arsenal moment. Thank you. Bros, please don't forget to give us Arsenal moment. You are the people's man, and the people are yearning for this. As from Uzoma. Okay. All right. So, in case you're wondering what this is about, well, there was a Premier League. Well, there were several Premier League games last night. Arsenal did have a game as well, away at the Etihad against Manchester City, and it's a crucial game. Some people consider the game to be a title decider, sort of. And well, Arsenal lost that game. 4-1, Man City won. And I understand that Arsenal fans must be feeling some disappointment right now, no doubt. But the season is still very much open. It's not over yet. And, well, I mean, Arsenal hasn't been in great form lately, from 3 straight draws. Man City, however, are in blistering form at the moment. And now this is not for the haters, those who are sending for the messages to me, which I read just a while ago. This Arsenal moment is for Arsenal fans to keep your head up, and there's nothing to be embarrassed about. Arsenal has performed well above expectations this season. There is no doubt about that. So, Arsenal fans everywhere, enjoy this one. I'll be back in a bit. past 3 p.m. Time for today's community. Emohua local government area Rivers have reportedly fled their community after a court clash left 2 persons dead. Our correspondent gathered the clash was between, well, I don't need to mention the names, well, some 2 cult groups. It was also gathered members of some cult group entered the community the early hours of today in search of the leaders of some other cult group, and in Wodi Onuigwe, who has been terrorizing the Emohua section of the East-West Road. The Emohua Vigilante Service reportedly has restored peace to the community. The acting commander of Emovis, Chi Agi, also denied the allegation his men killed one Charles Amadi. This is just disturbing on so many levels. This is it's very sad indeed. You know how I really can't fathom. I really don't understand. You know what's going on. So the story starts with, I mean, you heard the story, but it starts with residents of the Libada community in Emohua have reportedly fled the community. These persons, this so-called cultists, these criminals, who foment trouble, unleash mayhem in communities in Rivers State. They're obviously known by the community members. They know who they are. I mean, I'm sure that our reporter did not have to go through any clandestine or any, they didn't have to go undercover. They didn't have to infiltrate a cult group, They didn't have to conduct any serious kind of investigative journalism to even know the name of the person who's alleged to be a cult leader. And in Wodi Onoigwe, a.k.a. Wodi. They didn't have to do that. I mean, I'm sure if you just walk into any of those communities and say, who's the leader of this cult group, they just point at the person. They point to him. They give you his name. In fact, the child in that community possibly can give you the home address of that person. We know these people. We know who their families are. We know where they live. And yet nobody does anything. The security agencies, the police do nothing to apprehend them. And then whenever they feel like it, or whenever any of them has a running stomach, they cause problem, they unleash mayhem, kill people, sometimes destroy property, whole communities are sacked, people leave their homes, flee their homes in fear. And some of the worst parts of this is, before long, I don't know, this might happen. Okay, today is Thursday. Okay, tomorrow is Friday. Okay, maybe tomorrow or sometime early next week, some traditional ruler, with all due respect, or some leader of the community, you hear the person saying, maybe an elected official or not, saying, we are talk to the youths, we are talk to the disgruntled youths, we are talk to them, and they are sheathe their sword. So all the people that leave the community, they can come back now. Let them come back to the community. There's peace now. Let them come back to the community and go about and go on with their law-abiding activities. There's peace now. We are talk to the youths, the rampaging youths, and they are sheathe their sword. Rampaging youths. It's grown to criminals who should be behind bars right now, who should be in jail for a very, very, very long time, possibly without the possibility of ever living there. So we have caused mayhem and sacked the entire community again. It's most unfortunate indeed. And something has to be done about this so-called cultists. And why they call them cultists, I don't even understand. They're criminals. That's what they are. What you do to criminals is you apprehend them, you prosecute them, and hopefully they're found guilty and you jail them for a very long time. There was confusion on Agri Road in Port Harcourt City as the rainfall this morning destroyed some public property, including an electric pole in front of a commercial bank. Eyewitness said the situation also affected some buildings in the area. Commuters along Oli Road axis to Port Harcourt were stranded due to the rain as commercial buses and tricycles were unable to come out for business. Our correspondent reports that many commuters were forced to seek shelter at a gas station along Odili Road due to the high water levels. The rain also caused flooding in the area, and some residents spoke to our correspondent on this. And here we go.
Immediately I saw the rain, I knew that I would not be going to school today. On several occasions, I've almost fallen into the canal or a gutter or something because we can't even see the road.
If you are not careful, you cross, you might end up entering into those manholes, and they will be found maybe in Itawaba Creek or somewhere.
I've not been able to go for my daily activities because little rain just leads to big flood. Most of the areas there were just filled without doing proper drainage system for them. So whenever it rains like this, the road, all the dirt inside, everything comes to the major road. I'm going to blame the government because if you check along that LNG road, they used to have like a river. If they're only for us to notice that the government already start filling. That is what they do here.
Yeah, and that person sounds like she's young. I don't know. I didn't see the person, the respondent, the last speaker. That person sounds young, but isn't it remarkable how that person? I don't think that person is an engineer. I don't think that lady is an engineer, or a surveyor, or is into construction or town planning. I don't think she's an honorable or an excellency. But somehow she has an idea. She has an idea what's causing the floods in her area. She sounds young. She's not an honorable. She's not an excellency. She's not on grand. She doesn't have structure. But somehow she has an understanding. She has an idea of what's responsible and what needs to be done. But somehow government does not know. Government doesn't know, or maybe government is a continuum. So this administration has done what this administration. The incoming administration will tackle drainages. It's remarkable indeed. But then again, I'm sure that we are well prepared with the Choi response strategy. By the time the rains are here already, but they're going to come a lot faster, more frequent, and heavier in the coming days and weeks. And then everywhere is flooded, roads are flooded, homes are flooded, and then honorables will start visiting places and say, Joy, hey, Joy, see what our people are going through. See what our people are going through. See what our people are going through. Joy. And it's not too hard to figure this one out, really. I mean, especially in the cities and the towns, not the areas. What do? You just need to desilt the waterways, desilt the drainages. They could have done that. Government could have done that. We could have prepared for this. It's not unlikely that some of the construction work we have across, different parts of Port Harcourt, could have also put some pressure on some other waterways or natural waterways or even drainages as well. What did we do to prepare for this? No. Well, lest I fear, we have the Choi response strategy in place. I'm sure that will be put to very good use as far as the floods are concerned. And on a heart sends a message saying that last respondent has been sponsored by the opposition. She wants to demarket Rivers State. Quite possible. She might be an agent of Hezbollah trying to destroy the peace that we're enjoying in Rivers State. Well, I'd say, what else caught my attention? I have to wrap this up in a moment, very quickly. Let's move on now. So I suspect that's it for today's side comments. I suspect very strongly so. Well, that's a wrap on today's side comments. I'll go for a break now. But maybe if you say, so that's it for today's side comments. Go break on the time. Today's rooms up.
You are
Facts with Diode.
Hello, welcome back. It's hard to find Nigeria. It's 4 p.m. I'd like to run for just a bit. Something in my mind, shed some light on it. I'd like to get your take on mine as well. Did you ever see the TV show Kids Down This Thing? Or is it Down This Thins? I know at one time it was hosted by, I think Bill Cosby. I think Bill Cosby hosted the show. Kids say the Down This Thins. Yeah. And before that, it was hosted by some other person, some white dude, I believe. I remember his name. Possibly it's had other hosts as well over the years, But nice show indeed, predicated on children saying, they ask kids a question, and kids, children, wonderful, beautiful souls, say literally the darndest things, the funniest things in response to sometimes very serious questions. Remarkable. Very, very nice show, really. But it's okay and it's funny because they're kids. The children, they're supposed to say the darndest things because they're children. It's not funny when adults say the darndest things. When adults say the darndest things, it's no longer funny, it's not cute. It becomes downright ridiculous. It's horrific. And in the Nigerian scheme of things, people say the most ridiculous things, the most unimaginable things, and the most illogical things just play out, and they're made to seem normal. They're made to seem okay because the systems, the institutions of government, institutions of state that should respond to these anomalies, that should respond to these inoddities, that should respond to these illegalities, just fold their arms, do nothing, and look the other way. And you start to wonder, didn't they just hear this? Didn't they just see what I just saw right now? I was wondering why I'm going about this and reminiscing about a very old TV show. You're aware of the situation in Delhi, in Emohua local government area. You must have heard about that, where some felon who was alleged to be an old thief disarmed two soldiers, took their weapons, and took their uniforms as well. Remarkable stuff. And it was reported that those soldiers were there with that fellow, over illegal oil deals. Maybe there was some disagreement, and he took their rifles, took their guns from them, and took their uniforms as well. And then sometime afterwards, we heard that the gun was returned. And I remember asking the question severally, how did that happen? After that, the soldiers were said to have invaded the place. Some traditional rulers said it was a peaceful invasion, and then they got the guns back, and then they left. And there's been no official word from the Nigerian army as to what exactly happened. How did your soldiers get their guns taken from them? And reportedly their uniforms also. The Emohua local government chairman, Dr. Chidi Lloyd, has insisted, as he did with respect to this incident as well, that security operatives, soldiers inclusive, are involved in illegal oil trade in his local government area. And once again, there's been no official word from the Nigerian army as to what happened, why their men, why their officers were dispossessed of their guns and their uniforms. And I remember asking as well if the fellow took their boxers, their underwear also. No, there was no word on that. Maybe we need to conduct some investigative journalism to find out if their underwear was taken also. But here is some response to some of the questions that I have or that you may have regarding this incident. A classic example of somebody saying the darndest things, but it's not cute, it's not funny at all, as a matter of fact. And this was on our earlier bulletins. A suspected oil thief declared wanted by the Rivers State government, Gift Ajuru, community in Emohua Rivers State 10 days ago. Ajuru, who was at the center of the crisis, told our correspondent why he disarmed the two military officers during the clash over alleged proceeds from illegal oil refining activities in the community. The incident fled community when military rifles that were taken from them. Ajuru, who once led the disbanded local security outfit Ospark in Emohua, claims the soldiers tried to kill him.
I go close to them until they gone to community. After 2 days time, Raman ruler and others intervened to the matter and I carried the gun, submit to them. The local government chairman declared he wanted, while the young woman terrorized, never declared that young woman wanted. I make peace for Emohua local government, leading my community.
Let's take a listen to him a second time.
When I get to the bush to make peace with them, for them to release those people with the...
Okay, go to the bush to do what exactly? And make peace for what exactly? And these people he claims were held by the soldiers, why were they being held by the soldiers? Exactly.
The bush, they not allow me to go close to them. Two armed soldiers open fire on me.
Okay, all right, let's pause a bit as well. So, he tried to make peace for God knows what, on behalf of God who knows who, and then soldiers, him, trained soldiers, and somehow, for some bizarre reason, nothing happened to him. That's him talking. The guy whom two soldiers emptied their clips at. Still granting interviews.
I go close to them and took the gun to community. After
So, he then took their guns from them after they shot at him and obviously did not kill him. Doesn't even sound like he's injured or anything. And then took the guns from them.
And others intervened to the matter and I carried the gun, submit to them.
So then paramount ruler then called him and said, you see, allegedly of course, or some person calls, you see, this gun that you took, this gun is not good now. Why would you take their gun? Why would you take their gun? I mean, as if he took lollipops from a child. Well, you might, kind of like a parent telling the child, why would you take your sister's lollipop? Why would you take your sister's lollipop? It's not good. She's a sister. Return her lollipop to her. Don't take your sister's lollipop again. You have your own lollipop. Give your sister back her lollipop. You are an elder brother. You should look after your sister. Give her back her lollipop. Why would you take the soldiers' guns? It's not good. Give them back their guns. Give them back their guns.
The government chairman declared he wanted, while the young woman terrorized, never declared that young woman wanted. I make peace for Emohua local government, leading my community.
Okay, of course the local government chairman should declare he wanted. Anybody who is thinking right should declare him wanted. Now, Ajuru, however, denied any involvement in illegal oil refining activities. Let's take a listen to that as well.
All the whole barrack within Emohua local government, paying them 5 million. But after when they pay them the money, their boss enter inside the dump, then along the farm road, intimidating bike man way they carry people go farm. They will drop the bike, line the people in the bush, and order the bike carry products for them. That is what happened. My family is nowhere to be found now. My 3-bedroom flat, I built before I enter hospital. They don't burn and down. Today again, the soldier came back and pour my fence.
Okay, so somebody disarmed soldiers, so did something wrong, and then the response to that is to go into the community and burn down his house. Does this make sense to anyone? So the response to that is that soldiers or some other person will go. Just how? And once again, no word at all from the Nigerian army as to how this civilian was able to. I mean, I expect that these soldiers there should have been an orderly run trial already. I expect possibly they've even been dismissed or at least queried. What happened? What were you doing there? How did your guns get taken from you? Your uniforms? Where are the boxers you were wearing that day? Where's your singlet? And then the ones that were said to have stormed the community as well, the ones that were said to have burned down a house, the ones that were said to... Why did you burn down... Who burned down the house? And then they went to collect guns as if it was... as if it's Cynthia collecting her lollipop back from Junior, her elder brother. And then they gave the lollipop or the AKA guns, they gave it back. And then they left because they have collected their guns back. Or lollipop as the case may be. It's unbelievable, really. It's unbelievable. But in spite of these anomalies, I have comfort. I have some comfort. No, I'm not fully comforted, but I have some comfort in the knowledge that not all Nigerians have their minds. There are still many Nigerians around who are definitely abnormal. And I yearn for a time when abnormalities would no longer be seen as the norm. And institutions of state will respond when there is an anomaly, when an abnormal incident has taken place, and this is abnormal. And I hope Nigeria will respond to this. I hope the traditional institutions will respond to this. The ones that want to collect lollipop from gifts to give back to the soldiers. I hope that they will respond to this. I really hope so. On that note, I end my rant for today. Thanks for listening. Hope you were on board. Let's get your take on mine. Call 0812 0817 923 000. Nigeria Info PH. We're live on Twitter as well. No, we're not live on Twitter. We're on Twitter and YouTube at Nigeria Info PH. Let's get your take. Hello, Hard Factor. Welcome. Please go on.
Good afternoon, Dayo.
Hello, go ahead.
This was calling from Naga.
Go ahead.
Hello, Dayo. Dayo, it would be very hard for me to make a comment, some comment in regard to this. In the sense that I see this thing as half true because the there from brother angles of it from Nigerian soldier because it's a big insult. It's a slap, to our men on uniform. So that is why it's very difficult for me to say maybe it's like this or
okay. Good to hear from you, Wachiku. I'd rather hear from someone who has something to say. You come to say you don't have anything to say. It makes me wonder why you called in, really. So, anyone who's got something to say, an opinion or perspective on the matter, hello, you're welcome. Go ahead. Oh, a few messages here. That guy is the real Terminator. That's from Damete Irakosima. I suppose so. Hello, you're welcome.
Hello.
Yeah.
My name is Jose calling from Cyprus.
Go ahead.
Soldier, all of them collecting guns. I don't see the way those people are just doing all those things because both the security agencies and the hoodlums, they are calling them over there. I don't know what they are. They are just doing all those things deliberately. They know what they are doing. Those people are all involved in all those activities. And these are the reasons why to develop in our society is very difficult for the government. Because we ourselves, we are not making this easy. We are not making this easy. Security involving all those kind of things. What is the trust? Even if the government now, if government want to act through what security and not the rest. But look at what security are doing. Soldier for that matter, not police. Police now is nothing to ask me about it. Now, soldier for this aspect. It's very poor.
Quite so indeed. Quite so. Hello, Hard Factor, welcome. Hello. Hello.
Hey, I'm Dayo.
Okay, I can hear you now. Go ahead.
I'm I'm calling from. See, this is just the ministry. They are the people pushing this oil bunkering.
Okay, bad connection. Sorry. Hard Factor, welcome. Please go on.
Dayo, good afternoon.
You have 50 seconds. Go ahead.
I'm just imagining when that guy is coming and they say, stop there. He did not stop and then start shooting. Now I was dodging. Guy dodge. The two magazines finish. Dodge. I'll get to them.
Like Neo in the Matrix.
You see, God bless you. Matrix.
Okay, I'm actually taking your thoughts on my rant today. The real Terminator. Sorry. The one Neo. No, sorry. I meant the alleged oil thief. After you were explaining how he was able to and why he dispossessed 2 soldiers of their guns, their uniforms, and I'm still wondering what happened to their underwear as well. And it's just remarkable, unbelievable stuff. And no official word from anybody from the army as to what happened. We don't hear anything of a court martial going on. I don't know, nothing. Anyways, call 0817-923-0002 or 3. Hello, you're welcome. Please go on.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, for me, Dayo, I don't know what has happened to some people in this country. I don't know what is wrong with their concept. How can a normal human being will go and burn down somebody's house? And they go freely. They walk freely in this country. Nothing is going to happen to them after committing all of this crime. They go freely. What impunity? This is wrong. And nobody is saying anything. That's the worst part of it. Oh, be hearing about this matter all this while. Nobody has made a comment concerning this matter. Where are we going with this kind of lifestyle in this country? A lot of people, I don't know what's wrong with their concept. Even if the person has made you angry or provoke you, to the extent of going to burn down somebody's building. For crying out loud, this is bad.
Obviously, that can't be justice served either. I've got a few messages here. I'd like to run through them. This is American film in Rivers State. As indeed. That guy is the real Terminator. This army guys went for illegal work, which is qualifier. All right. Let's see. The guy make me remember the movie Rambo: First Blood. That's from Alan. But I can say to some degree of certainty that there's no head of any security agency that has not drank a cup of water from illegal oil business. They will simply look away in spite of any abnormality, and that's from Frank. This one civilian must have combated 2 well-trained soldiers, took their guns, stripped off their uniforms, 2 of them. He must be Rambo of First Blood. So the Gogo Wokoma. I think that guy should be recruited into the army so he can teach them how to dodge bullets and collect the firearms for the enemies. He needs to be taken to Sambisa to bring back our girls. Good afternoon, Dial. Gift Ajuris Merlin. He looks at the bullets and they melt off. From all he said, they all know themselves. The paramount ruler, military, the community people know what's happening in the environment. I bet you'll never hear anything from the military or from the traditional rulers again. That's from Prince Umor. It's interesting indeed. Well, I have to wrap up this segment right now. We've got the business news, coming up to put it out at 4 o'clock. When I return, Sudan. Nigerians react as FG evacuate students according to state of origin to ease the evacuation. How would that help? Stay with us.
Information is a two-way thing. Nigeria, it's your turn. Let's talk.